What if Superman never had to say goodbye? What if Christopher Reeve stayed in the Cape? Not for 5 years, but for 50. No reboot, no replacement. Just one man, one hero, one legacy. This is the timeline where Superman aged with his audience and became something more than a superhero. He became a legend. According to studio contracts and Reeve's closest friends, this wasn't just fantasy, it was the plan, until May 27, 1995 changed everything. But what if it never happened? Through insider accounts, unearthed interviews, and forgotten memos, we've reconstructed the timeline where Christopher Reeve became the only Superman we ever needed. May 27, 1995, Culpeper, Virginia. Christopher Reeve guides his horse toward the third fence, a simple 1-meter jump. In our world, the horse refused. Reeve fell, his spine shattered. Superman's story ended. Here, the jump is clean. He finishes 6th, drives home sore, smiling, and still Superman. That night, he calls his agent. Warner Brothers has sent something new. Early drafts for Superman 5. By July, Hollywood buzzes. The man who defined Superman might return, older, wiser, and ready to face something darker than aliens. Schumacher calls it a story about ideals surviving adulthood, but Warner Brothers hesitates. Internal memos question whether audiences want an aging Superman. They suggest dye jobs, soft lighting, even recasting. Reeves' reply, one sentence typed and faxed straight to the execs. Find another Cape or find your Superman. I'm not dying my way backwards. Then Batman Forever explodes at the box office. Mature heroes are in demand. Warner relents. December 8, 1995, Superman 5 is officially greenlit for Christmas 1997, with Reeve as an older, sharper, human Superman. When Man of Tomorrow opens, critics hail Reeve's performance as a statesman in a cape. He doesn't punch problems anymore. He outthinks them, outlasts them. In an era chasing spectacle, he gives audiences something else: wisdom, weight, presence. By 1999, he signs a $75 million deal, the biggest ever for an actor over 45. And for the first time, a superhero isn't rebooted, he's evolving. But a bigger challenge looms ahead. It's the year 2000, and the age of digital heroes has begun. By 2000, superhero movies are back, and they've changed. They're younger, faster, digital. Hugh Jackman is 31, Tobey Maguire is 25, Christian Bale is 30, Christopher Reeve is 48. Studios whisper, time to pass the torch. But Reeve sees something others don't. He watches Tom Cruise run full speed at 38, sees Sean Connery steal scenes at 59. Superman doesn't need to be young, he tells Premiere. He needs to be right. June 15, 2003. No origin story, no reboot. Just one question. Does the world still need Superman? He doesn't throw punches. He talks down terrorists, saves schools through strategy, not power, wisdom. Opening weekend, $127 million final gross, $487 million. Critics call it the first superhero movie with gravitas. And by 2005, the message is clear. While others reboot, Superman evolves. In 2008, Iron Man launches the MCU, The Dark Knight reinvents Batman. Superman, he just turns 56. This isn't nostalgia, it's legacy. Opening weekend, $158 million total, $634 million. When asked about retirement, he smirks. Tom's still jumping off buildings at 47. I can still fly at 57. But the next decade would test him in ways no villain ever could. The internet is rising, and Gen Z isn't buying the idea of an old Superman. March 15th, 2010. A single photo leaks from Superman 9. Christopher Reeve, gray at the temples, slight crow's feet, still in the cape. The internet reacts fast and not kindly. The hashtag #TooledSuperman trends globally within hours, but something unexpected happens. A generational war erupts online. Millennials mock, Gen X defends, boomers dig in. The internet becomes a battleground, and Christopher Reeve, the flashpoint. Warner Bros. Panics. They offer Reeve $50 million to erase every wrinkle, to make him 26 again, forever. He doesn't even raise his voice. I didn't earn this by looking young, he says. I earned it by being real. No CGI, no stunt double, no soft lighting. Superman ages or he disappears. Tomorrow's Legacy opens in 2011. While Marvel gives us Norse gods and talking raccoons, Reeve gives us mortality, a superhero facing time itself. Opening weekend, $89 million. Global gross, $521 million. International audiences embrace the idea. Aging doesn't weaken Superman, it humanizes him. By 2015, something shifts. The Reeve effect enters film school curriculums. Younger fans begin posting tribute videos, comparing 1978 idealism to 2015 wisdom. In 2015, Man of Tomorrow breaks records, his biggest hit yet, at 63. During the pandemic, he's asked if he'll ever hang up the cape. Tom's still jumping off buildings at 58. I can still fly at 68. The tweet gets 2.3 million likes. The hashtag #FlyAt68 trends for 3 days. But what no one knows is that James Gunn has been watching, and he's not planning a reboot, he's planning an ending. When James Gunn takes over DC, the playbook is clear. Reboot Superman, younger, flashier, Gen Z friendly. Focus groups demand change, studios expect it. But Gunn sees something different in the data. Reeve's last film grossed $634 million. He's 70 and still the most beloved Superman alive, so Gunn does the unthinkable. In November 2022, he visits Connecticut, 4 hours together. Not about capes, not about casting. They talk about meaning, about legacy, about stories that make people cry, not just cheer. Finally, Reeve asks, "So who are you casting?" Gunn smiles. "I'm not here to replace Superman. I'm here to give him the ending he deserves." Production begins early 2024. No sky beams, no villain monologues, no CGI battles, just Superman visiting children's hospitals, mentoring a young pilot, helping a widow carry groceries. The heart of the film, one simple speech. The world asks, "Are you finally retiring?" And Reeve answers, "I never saved the world. I just reminded it how to save itself." At the first private screening, the room goes silent for 5 minutes. Then the applause begins, 10 minutes long. Opening weekend, 127 million, but the numbers aren't the story. Thank You, Christopher trends globally for 6 days. Fan edits flood the internet. 3 generations share what it meant to grow up with just one Superman. And for the first time, no one asks who should play him next. Superman doesn't reboot, he just grows old. And for 50 years, he reminded us how to fly. In this timeline, Superman never changed hands, because some legends don't need to be replaced, they deserve to be remembered. Subscribe if you believe heroes shouldn't be disposable. And tell us, who else deserved the Christopher Reeve treatment? One actor, one role, a lifetime of legacy. Together, we're exploring the timelines where Hollywood chose continuity over constant change. In our world, Superman's story changed forever on May 27, 1995. But in this timeline, Christopher Reeve kept flying. For 50 years, he didn't just play Superman, he was Superman, growing older, wiser, more human, but never less inspiring. This wasn't about nostalgia, it was about legacy, about choosing one actor for one role and letting both grow with the world. Some stories don't need to be rebooted, they just need to be remembered.